After a while, they were met in the restaurant by an employee who kindly escorted them to a table. Mr. Paralan began to study the menu and was soon ready to order. Vanessa and Cody also opened the folders with the list of dishes. The boy took the same folder the adults were looking at. A waiter came up to him and offered a special children's menu, but Cody refused because he wanted fish fillets. The waiter explained that only adult portions were served, but Cody continued to demand the dish. The nanny noticed Cody had ordered fillets yesterday and the day before but had not eaten them each time and suggested he order pasta. Oscar intervened and asked to bring fillets as well as baked potatoes with spices. Vanessa ordered more chicken, wine, and pasta. Although Cody did not want pasta, the nanny explained it was for her. The boy began drawing on a napkin, and Vanessa realized he was not very concerned about what had happened. The girl considered it innocent for children to play together but also understood anyone in the city could be an enemy. She knew that if she tried to tear Cody out of his father's world, it might put him in even greater danger. Looking at Oscar, Vanessa noticed he wasn't worried, but she could never understand what he was thinking. Mr. Paralan decided to talk about the fire. It seemed strange to Vanessa that he should remember it here. He said Vanessa had been dragged out of the burning house and asked when it happened. The girl understood what fire he meant but thought her boss had already forgotten about it. Then the nanny realized Oscar was just waiting for this moment, knowing she would not be able to avoid talking in front of the child. Cody didn't know his nanny's house had burned down as well, and he wondered how it happened. Vanessa began by saying she was a little older than he was when the accident happened. A fire broke out abruptly in her house. She was very scared and did not know what to do. Vanessa was lucky because she had a nanny who saved her from certain death. Cody listened sympathetically, as Vanessa had saved him when they had a fire. The boy became curious if his nanny had lost all her things because he could not forget the burned duckling. Vanessa admitted she had lost not only all her belongings in the fire but absolutely everything. Then she smiled sweetly and said she was not discouraged, just like Cody and his father. She assured the boy he would not have time to blink before his new home would be ready. Cody demanded there be a drawing room in the new house, but his father specified the house would be an exact copy of the old one. The boy suggested that since the library burned down, he could use this room. Oscar still objected a little, and the nanny assured the boy he needed books very much. Cody agreed some art books could be left somewhere in the corner, but he also wanted a duck pond in the backyard. Oscar promised to convey his son's wishes to the architects. The nanny tried to understand what else the boss wanted to ask, knowing he couldn't lie in front of children since they were his weakness. Mr. Paralan remained silent, convincing the nurse it was not worthwhile to expect honesty from him. After the meal, they all left the restaurant, and the clerk again did not leave without flattering wishes. Already in bed, Cody was worried there might be bugs in Clark's gift. Vanessa checked the duckling very carefully. The boy calmly put the toy on the pillow next to him so he would not be lonely. The girl waited until Cody, wrapped in a blanket, began to fall asleep and was about to leave. Then Cody wondered if Clark was really his friend or if he couldn't be friends with such a boy. This question was a little unexpected for the nanny. But she still explained that everything depended only on the two of them and that the fact their parents didn't get along shouldn't affect their friendship. Cody believed family should come first. Vanessa confirmed that family can come first, but that doesn't prevent having other things in life. Cody fell asleep, and the nanny, leaving his room, thought not everything was as bad as she had feared. She went to the kitchen where Mr. Paralan was making himself a drink with ice. Vanessa approached him, wanting to talk about something important. Oscar thought she meant what he said at dinner, but she decided to talk about his son. He turned his full attention to her, and she remembered the night in the garden when he had spoken of purpose. She was curious about what he had in mind for Cody and asked him honestly. Oscar had many plans, but for his son, it was more of a dream. He looked thoughtfully at Vanessa and called it hope. Setting the glass down, he confessed that he wished his son to be free. Vanessa didn't quite understand. He whispered that he wanted Cody not to have a life like his, not to see him as a role model. Oscar wanted a real life for his son, one where he could make his own choices. Vanessa realized he meant the kind of choices Oscar had made. He continued that if he gave his son freedom now, he would surely follow in his footsteps. At the same time, he wanted to keep Cody close to protect him but also to give him a way to be free. Vanessa understood Oscar couldn't do that himself, but he trusted her to help shield the boy from bad influences. After thinking a moment, Vanessa concluded that meant separating Cody from his father. Oscar agreed if it was best for everyone. He asked the nanny to help Cody find another path. Vanessa thought Oscar might be ill to speak so openly against the mafia. He chose his words carefully now, and if he truly wanted safety for Cody, she agreed to help. She promised to do everything to shield the boy but knew she would need something in return. She also recalled how Oscar had already manipulated her. Their conversation was interrupted by a vibrating phone in Oscar's pocket. He answered happily. The caller was John Lee, who had received a message from Oscar. Oscar began discussing a lucrative proposal. Vanessa realized their conversation was over and thought about going to her room. She felt foolish believing in Oscar's sincerity, knowing he didn't truly need her protection. As she moved to leave, Oscar called her back to discuss something the next day at 10 a.m. Left alone, Vanessa thought Oscar was too far gone and had chosen his path. She needed to focus on the only person in the family who could be saved. The next day, Vanessa and Cody worked on a list. The boy was checking if he had written everything correctly. He wanted to buy 2 sets of watercolors, but Vanessa advised one for now, the second later. Oscar came in and saw the long list, asking what it was. Cody explained it was a list of things to draw because many had burned down. Oscar started to read but didn't understand why 2 aprons were on the list. Cody explained it was in case Clark came. He also knew their families were strained but believed the Colts would soon see they were no threat. Oscar confirmed things would return to normal soon. Nick was surprised by Cody's optimism. Cody wanted to go shopping, but Vanessa told him to wait until after lunch because Oscar wanted to discuss something. Oscar planned to leave Nick with Cody, though he thought the boss wanted to see him at the meeting. Cody said the adults should discuss everything in front of him, since he planned to stay. Vanessa saw an opportunity to start building distance between father and son. She began the meeting by discussing camera angles and how to calculate the degree using a formula. Cody found it boring and quietly asked Nick to leave before Vanessa started making diagrams. When Oscar was alone with Vanessa and Anna, they continued. Oscar noticed Vanessa had a great idea to discourage Cody. After thanking her, she asked what he wanted to discuss. He admitted it wasn't about video surveillance but about aspects related to their operation. Oscar revealed his plan to sabotage Madame Colt. Though he was warned not to, he disliked being ordered. Vanessa was disappointed, thinking it was about Cody's safety, but since Colt's nanny had bugged his son's room, Oscar believed this was necessary. They had provoked him, and consequences were coming. Anna wondered what he intended to do. Oscar said he wouldn't stage an open showdown but had offered a lucrative deal to John Lee, nicknamed the Rabbit, more profitable than the French. Oscar planned to offer genuine, high-quality Italian designer bags to undercut the French contract. Vanessa imagined the French mafia selling branded factory parts and the triad using them to make fakes in China. She quickly calculated selling at a loss to compete but agreed if done long-term it could pay off due to connections with the triad in Chicago. Anna agreed but feared it might not work. Oscar planned a second attack to strike their weak point. Vanessa understood and refused to hack the French mafia, but Oscar only asked if she knew whether local mafia used cryptocurrency for money laundering. Crypto exchanges were increasingly regulated, increasing risk. He asked if popular online games could be used, where players buy items to increase points, which could be cashed out legally to accounts or online wallets. Anna said Madame Colt was old school and likely had a business. Oscar objected that Madame had few businesses to launder such money. Vanessa suggested a casino, but Anna said Madame was against it, believing casinos were for plebeians. Vanessa then offered art galleries as an option. Anna got excited, remembering Colt owned the House of Light, sparking Oscar's interest in traditional money laundering. Vanessa proposed using modern tech instead, like NFT auctions. Her idea helped Oscar, who let her go. On the way, she wondered if provoking Madame Colt was right. She doubted if she was a good role model for Cody dealing with his father's business. Yet keeping Cody safe meant helping Oscar anticipate threats. The question remained if Madame Colt was truly a threat. Lost in thought, Anna approached Vanessa to say she was restoring data lost in the fire and realized she didn't know Vanessa's last name. Anna wanted to write it down. Vanessa didn't understand why, since no staff had asked before. Anna smiled slightly, hinting that keeping her last name secret could raise suspicion. Vanessa didn't see it as a secret but didn't know Nick or Adam's real names. Anna pressed, and Vanessa gave the name Smith. Anna thanked her and left. Vanessa realized Anna was up to something but wouldn't learn anything from the fake name. That evening, Oscar took Cody and Vanessa to the drawing room. Cody boasted about his purchases but suddenly froze, staring at the doors in fright, as if seeing a ghost. Vanessa, whom he accidentally pushed, tried to find out what happened. Cody said he'd forgotten his sketchbook and needed it that night. Vanessa didn't understand the panic but prepared to get it. Oscar praised her reflexes but Vanessa wasn't amused. Oscar wanted to apologize but Vanessa was already heading away. In the elevator, she reproached herself for looking awkward. At Cody's room, Vanessa rummaged through the pile for the sketchbook but heard rustling outside the door. Peeking through a crack, she saw Nick and Anna discussing a successful attack on the money laundering site, making their opponents unable to spend. Anna found it dangerous and feared bad repercussions for their boss. Nick corrected that he himself was responsible. Nick hoped Oscar would come to his senses for the child's sake. Anna felt she missed something since Oscar never acted impulsively. Nick seemed nervous, pacing, and suddenly noticed Vanessa eavesdropping. He opened the door abruptly. Vanessa pretended to rummage through things and hit her head on a shelf, acting surprised to see him. Nick asked what she was doing. Vanessa said she was looking for Cody's sketchbook to prevent him ordering a huge steak again. Nick stopped her and asked her to keep a closer eye on Cody for weeks. Vanessa didn't understand why. She had always cared for the boy carefully. Leaving, Nick and Anna noted Vanessa had been there all along. Anna said Oscar trusted Vanessa, but Nick said she didn't. Anna didn't deny this and wanted to find out who Vanessa really was and what she wanted. Later, Vanessa sat with Cody at the table. He drew in a sketchbook, she in a notebook. She asked what he would become if he could be anything. Cody, obsessed with drawing, didn't understand. She showed a drawing of an astronaut. Cody assumed it was Vanessa and thought the question stupid. He said he already knew what he would be. Vanessa asked him to imagine he wasn't a mafioso but a normal kid from the provinces. Cody wondered what his father would do. Vanessa guessed maybe chocolate making. Cody said he'd be a cocoa bean supplier for his father, traveling the world to find the best farms, limiting supply so chocolate became more valuable and they controlled prices. He knew why Vanessa asked, with some sadness in his eyes. Cody repeated he didn't need a new mom. Vanessa didn't understand. she just wanted to entertain him. He said his mother told him he needed other interests and not to become a mafioso. His mother even told his father he needed other friends, not only from the snake's den. Now Cody had no mother, so Vanessa shouldn't say such things. But she doubted Cody understood her. He hinted one of Oscar's men could be involved in his mother's disappearance. Cody always emphasized family loyalty. Vanessa thought this might reflect his fear, that deep down he believed it was his fault. She assured him it wasn't and he shouldn't blame himself. But Cody found it hard and plunged back into drawing, pressing hard on the pencil. Vanessa said his past shouldn't affect his dreams. Cody grew angry, repeating that one day his father would become the Don and he would be his right hand, making sure everyone in the family felt safe. Then the boy grabbed his sketchbook and ordered the nanny not to stand in his way before going to his room. Left alone, Vanessa realized that Cody's mother had also been against him growing up like this, but after that she disappeared, which could be the main reason Oscar had asked the nanny to do all this. At that time, Mr. Paralan was in his room diligently typing on his laptop. Anna arrived, not in a good mood, and threw 2 folders on his table. She began asking what he really knew about the woman working as a nanny for him. He calmly replied that everything was in those folders, but she didn't find anything worthwhile that could shed light. Anna again mentioned that one of their people was involved in the fire and hinted at the nanny, but Oscar was sure it wasn't her, as he had seen her shortly before the fire began. However, Anna noted they had a heated argument, and then he left her upstairs where the fire had started. There, the nanny had miraculously become the savior of his son, earning reinforced trust. Anna also suspected Vanessa might be a spy or a fake babysitter, finding it strange that he found a suitable nanny so quickly. Mr. Paralan grew angry and asked Anna to stop, calm down, and sit. He explained that everything was not as it seemed, and he had personally chosen the nanny for his son, long before applying to the Elite Nanny Academy. After graduation, the academy exhibits its best students and their diplomas, showing the most successful disciplines. To be certain, Mr. Paralan also checked her data through a database. But Anna still doubted because nothing was known about Vanessa from the time she was orphaned until she graduated from the academy. She had no passport or driver's license, was not on social networks, and her closest relatives hadn't been found. Oscar was well aware of this and chose her precisely because of it. He explained that Vanessa had no family who would start asking questions if she disappeared. Anna immediately realized he was hinting Vanessa might disappear for some reason, but he clarified he meant disappearance, not death. Anna took this as cold calculation, knowing life in their family was not easy. Oscar added that he selected a nanny who had already faced harsh realities of life, and most importantly, one who understood what his son had to go through. Anna advised him not to let naivety and trust cloud his judgment, believing Vanessa could still prove herself. She had no doubt but was sure the nanny working here was actually a stranger. Mr. Paralan looked at her skeptically, not expecting anything else. Anna realized the conversation could end there and hurried away, still feeling indignant. Nick, who had been behind the door, curious about how the meeting went, couldn't resist playing a joke on Anna, but she wasn't done yet and was ready to move on. As they entered the elevator, Anna shared with Nick that something was missing in Vanessa's story, but she didn't know what. Nick suggested contacting the sorcerer Simon, but Anna didn't want to get involved with him, considering him eccentric. Nick assured her that despite his strange clothing, he was the only one who could dig up something about the nanny. Nick suggested Anna simply didn't want to interfere with headquarters in case she was wrong. She feared that after setting a cyber sleuth on Vanessa, it might turn out the nanny was innocent. Nick asked if she was sure about her suspicions, but Anna was already dialing the number. As Anna put the phone to her ear, she noticed they were no longer alone in the corridor. Vanessa returned with Cody, who ran angrily to his room. After some time, Mr. Paralan and Adam began executing an insidious plan. Oscar ordered the driver to behave like a tourist, and Adam immediately decided to buy a Panama hat and sunglasses. After dressing up and turning to his boss, he thought the camouflage was perfect. Mr. Paralan said in code that the chameleon was outside and the driver should get ready. A Chinese man dressed in a spacious kimono and glasses greeted them happily at Trinity Candles. Today they offered a special program for cleansing and healing, but it became clear the visitor came for an online order. Oscar was led into a special room. The Chinese man asked to be reminded who ordered and said the candle was locally produced. The man was sure they had what the client needed but hinted it might not be affordable. Mr. Paralan assured him he could pay if necessary. Another girl at the counter asked if the candle was made of paraffin. The Chinese assured it was soy wax, environmentally friendly and vegan. The girl was afraid, having red candles contain lead, and she had a severe allergy. The Chinese offered a diffuser instead. After the girl left, the Chinese realized they were there for a reason and was ready to hand over an old woman, but she still reported to Boston. He explained that all his candles passed through their port and he could not risk betraying such customers. Oscar understood the Chinese would not break the contract without a strong reason. He hinted that interruptions in supplies might occur. Taking one bag from the counter, he explained that if there were reasons for concern, no one would blame them for seeking extra supplies. Oscar broke open the bag and poured the contents in front of the Chinese man, who agreed they did not want trouble but wanted to see which way the flames would swing. Oscar suggested he take a closer look. Before leaving, he added their parsley had likely gone bad, but the Chinese assured it was valuable sage.